Hello there, hobbyistas. This is our first video review and we're featuring right now Marvel Select's Human Torch. So this is the latest release coming from Diamond Select, and as you can see, this is the packaging, the always big and bulky packaging of Diamond Select toys. And as you can see, here's the read-up, and it says here, fiery and hot-headed, the Human Torch burns up the sky with an unquenchable love of adventure and always has the backs of his family, the Fantastic Four. The Human Torch can ignite his body to cover it in fire that he manipulates to a high degree. This flame can be adjusted by temperature and density, as well as be used for precision work or to blanket an entire area. With his fiery form, he can burn through just about any adversity and put a smile on it while he does. This Marvel Select action figure of the Human Torch is based on the appearance in Marvel Comics. It includes interchangeable hands, effects, pieces, and heads, and features 16 points of articulation. So as you can see, this latest release from Marvel Select is designed by Eamon O'Donoghue and sculpted by Chris Dahlberg. So let's take a final look at the packaging, and later on we'll take a crack at it and see the action figure. So here's the Human Torch outside of the box and already attached to its action base. So as you can see, I've currently configured this to look just like Jim Hammond, the original Human Torch. One of the key features of this action figure of this Human Torch is that it can convert from the original Human Torch and Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four. For those of you who are familiar with the history of Human Torch, there are two Human Torch in the history of Marvel Comics. The first one came in at around the time of Captain America and Namor, and that will be Jim Hammond, and he's a cyborg actually. And the most well-known will be Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four. So as mentioned, this is in the configuration of Jim Hammond, the original Human Torch. So to start first with our details of our figure, as you can see, I'll take it off from its action base first. So as mentioned, one of the key features of this action figure is its ability to convert from Johnny Storm to Jim Hammond. So this part, where there's a chest flame detail, this is the part where it can be interchanged with the Fantastic Four logo to convert it into Johnny Storm. Also the head, as you can see, it's a more undefined head, typical of a cyborg. And this is the exact look of the Human Torch as the android from the late, I think that's around 70s. So let's start first with with the details. Transparent plastic all throughout, with some details of yellow flames, which are also transparent plastic. It also comes with interchangeable hands and interchangeable head. There's also some few flame accessories that I'll be showing you later on. So let me put this at the side. Let's take a look now at the action base. So technically this is a two-piece action base, where this big base is a separate piece from the arm that connects to the action figure. Once connected, it has only one way of articulation, which is this way. And sorry, it has 2 points of articulation. It has an up and down movement, and it can rotate 360 degrees. However, The only point, negative point I can say about this action base is that this part here where it connects to the action figure does not have any articulation point. So it's technically frozen there and doesn't offer any additional articulation or any additional movement for the action figure. So here are the other accessories included in this set. So you have two fisted hands, two open hands, here are the fisted hands, and of course, as mentioned earlier, this can convert into Johnny Storm. So as you can see, there's more facial details here compared with the ones currently attached to the action figure. Well, considering it depicts the android Jim Hammond, so if you'd also be able to see some of those old comic books that features the android Human Torch, there's not really a face there. So also there's also the Fantastic Four emblem that's interchangeable with the chest piece that's currently connected here. And again, you have this flame ball holding hand and this flame throwing hand. All of these are interchangeable to suit whatever action pose you need. So let's try to do some adjustments here, change some fists. Let's attach the open palm hand. And let's proceed turning this one to Johnny Storm. So as you can see, there's a hole here with a very odd shape, with a very odd looking irregular hole there to hold in the emblem or the chest piece of the Human Torch. So you can see I've already attached the Fantastic Four logo there, and then I'm going to install or attach Johnny Storm's head. There you go. So you can see immediately you can see the Human Torch Johnny Storm version very clear, very detailed. Other details involves these stripes, as you can see. There's some stripe details here from the chest going down to the torso, going to the legs. There's also some flame details here molded in, including some unremovable yellow flame details here. I'm sure these are added on after the sculpt, after the molding, but technically you cannot remove these. These are all glued in. So there's the hole for the action base. For me, I'd prefer action bases to be for action figures to be put here rather than at the back to provide more elevation, especially for flying poses. Okay, going back to Johnny Storm's head, you can see there's a gradient of colors here from the fiery red at the face going to the flame yellow going to the top of the head. Other details include some additional molded details here, the arms. And at the shoulders and at the back. Okay, for articulation, let's start with the head. You have the basic 360-degree rotation. It can move back and forth, although you can only move the head back so much. It doesn't provide you with a full tilt head suited for flying. That's a bit of unfortunate. You also have some hinge movement at the arm, although the flames limit the movement of the hinge. From there, you also have 360 degrees movement at the shoulders, 360 degrees movement at the elbow, although you can't really twist it while the elbow is bent. Single jointed elbows. Fists or the hands rotate and has an up and down swivel. The torso has an up and down movement, some side to side movement, and technically it can twist and turn, but not too much. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a waist swivel, so the rotation at the torso is only achieved through the rotation at the chest area or the torso area. Next, for the hips, you have an up and down movement, a little bit limited, and then a side to side movement for the hips. Not as good as the other recent releases of Diamond Select, where it uses ball joints. This is what they call a T-joint. Not as articulated, but it gets things done, I guess. And this, I believe, are some of the old designs for hip articulation for Diamond Select figures. The same things or joint assembly being used by some of the DC Direct Collectibles action figures. You have single joint knee movement and 360 degrees rotation. For the feet, it only has an up and down swivel. I was about to say only up and down swivel, but it has a rotation at the ankles. For this articulation of this figure, it can give you enough flying poses, since Johnny Storm is really a flying action hero. You could do some decent poses, but not as much. Comparing from other, if you're going to compare it with Marvel Legends, this is a little bit limited, which for long-time Diamond Select collectors, this is what we get from this brand and from this line. Beautiful details, but limited in the articulation. You can do this kind of flying pose. You can also do some kind of very static flying pose, like very androidy. As you can see, this is a bit of a very androidy, stiff pose for flying while flying. And since we have the action base here, I'll put away all the other accessories. Let's attach the figure to the action base, and there you go. Here's a flyby pose. And unfortunately, due to some of these flame effects in the at the base of the stand, there's some limitations going on in terms of twisting it and twisting the arm of the base and then pulling it sideways. You can only do so much on one side, but not on the other one. So here it's a bit stuck already, but you can still do some. You can swing it on the other side. Still has a lot of movement, but not on the side. So you really have to figure out what's the best pose you can get out of this action base. And as you can see, the Human Torch has his flames coming from the back. It looks like he has a booster at his back. That's why I mentioned I prefer the effect. I prefer flying effect pieces being attached here, or the flight stand will be attached here. At the least here at the crotch, but not at the back. But it gets things done. It does what it's supposed to do. So you just have to be creative, I guess, in finding the best pose for your Human Torch and posing him in doing a flight pose for him. Given time, you could find great poses for this, I'm pretty sure. Maximizing all of the articulation points that I just mentioned. Okay, after everything's said and done, this figure is a decent one. It packs a lot of accessories, especially this very large action base, several accessories, an alternate head, several hand configurations, and if you get a little bit more creative, you could execute or pull off some nice flying poses for either the Johnny Storm or the Jim Hammond configuration. As mentioned, this can be turned into the original Human Torch or the Fantastic Four Human Torch. So that's the Marvel Select Human Torch with all of the things that's been said here. Technically, this is a good figure. I'm giving it a rating of 3.5 out of 5. It mixes a lot of old concepts or articulation points or details of old Diamond Select figures and mixes it up with the latest designs of Marvel Select figures, like more accessories, more optional hands, more alternate heads, and a very beautiful display base that's more that makes more sense comparing with the old diorama backgrounds of old Marvel Select figures. So this is a 3.5 out of 5 for me. And if you like this action figure, you can check it out at our Hobby Life website or at our Shopee store. The links will be included in this post, and I hope you guys check it out and get them for yourselves. So that's it for me, and keep it tight and stay collecting.